Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first NAC check-in chat of 2022, believe it or not. I think the first thing I'd like to say to everyone is Happy New Year. We've been reading the news and seeing, again, some bad news, unfortunately, and I want everybody to know that we're glad you're here. And this is exactly the reason we're doing this, so that we're connected and so that we're getting information and talking about things that concern us all, including maybe some potential solutions. So again, Happy New Year and welcome. I did want to preview the year as far as the check-in chat is concerned. We are planning on doing this. I got ahead of myself there, I'm sorry. We're planning on doing this at least on a monthly basis. We've got some nice topics in the queue, but please, by all means, if there's something you want us to run down, drop me a note, let me know, and we can see if we can find some resources to have one of these calls. In addition, we do have sponsorships available for these calls. They're very reasonable, and you will get yourself and your company 5 to 10 minutes where you can just introduce yourself and talk to the members. And you'll just excuse me, there's still some people coming in, so I'm pausing. I'd like to ask everybody if they could please stay muted while they're on the call, just to facilitate our presenters today. And what we would ask you to do is use the chat function to ask your questions, and either our presenters or myself will address the question and we'll get it answered for you. I want to take this opportunity while I have you here to make a few announcements. If you don't already know, CinemaCon registration is currently open. CinemaCon this year is April 25th through 28th. NAC is going to have its full slate of events this year. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. And then also, we'd like you to save the date, July 26th through 29th at the Hilton Orlando Lake Buena Vista. We have our Concession and Hospitality Expo. We're going back to our full footprint with our general education sessions. We're going to have a 2-day trade show. We're going to bring back the really popular awards luncheon that we did this year. Everybody really seemed to like that. So we'll do our major awards all in Orlando this year. We'll have the venue breakout sessions. We'll have some fun social events. A CCM class will be included. We'd love to follow it up with another big successful class coming off of a great one in Dallas. And then also it is our plan to bring back the venue tours. We took a 1-year hiatus on the venue tours, but we're going to reinstitute those. So lots of fun, lots of interesting things happening in Orlando and with NAC. And so we invite you, information on the Concession Hospitality Expo will be out in a week or so. I did want to circle back to CinemaCon. We're returning to, again, a more normal footprint. We will do our normal committee and board meetings on Sunday, April 24th. We'll also be bringing back our charity golf event on April 25th. We do have a change of venue, Snow Mountain at the Paiute Golf Resort, one of the finest in Las Vegas. And a lot of people ask, it's only 30 minutes from Caesar's Palace. So still pretty convenient and beautiful course, beautiful property. Information on this will be out next week. So look for that. You can participate in one of 3 ways, basically. You can play golf. You can be a sponsor, or you can also donate a raffle prize. And better yet, you can do all 3 if you'd like. So, and we'll be raising money for a variety of the children's charity, the Will Rogers Pioneer Foundation, Variety Boys and Girls Club of Los Angeles, and our own NAC educational programs. We'll also have our normal events that we do at CinemaCon. We have a booth down at the trade show floor. We have a complimentary meeting room, so please take advantage of that. That's very, very nice. If you have customers who want to get off to a side room, we have that available for you. And then we will be putting on a seminar on Thursday morning. The topic will be announced shortly. So that's enough of me. Now we're going to get to what we all came here for. Virtual Dining Concepts became an NAC member about middle of the year last year, and we've been talking about the best way to maybe get this message out, because they're a very unique member in terms of what they offer, which is the concept of a ghost kitchen or virtual brands. And a very interesting topic. Today we have with us Kaylana Purdue. We also have Kelly Grogan and Lisa Lehman. They're from Virtual Dining Concepts. And I think we've all heard about this, but I don't know that as a group we've gone over the jumps. And I think that's what Kaylana and Kelly are here to do today. So Kaylana, I will turn the program over to you. The screen is yours. I will ask everybody, please use the chat function to ask questions and stay muted. And we'll do the best we can to get to them all, but please ask questions because I know these guys are ready to take your questions. So Kaylana, the screen's yours.
You got it. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us today on this call. We're really excited to tell you all about the virtual kitchen industry and virtual dining concepts and kind of what we can do for you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so you guys can kind of walk through it with me. All right. Is it showing the right screen, Chris?
Yes, it is. You look good.
Awesome. Okay, great. All right. So I know Chris had mentioned that a lot of you, maybe a few of you, know a little bit about the industry, but I will tell you that it has been blowing up in our world. Really started in the restaurant industry. Virtual kitchens and virtual brands have become more and more popular over the years. With the COVID-19 pandemic help, because delivery times and the need for delivery has kind of spiked because people don't want to leave their homes, and it's kind of become the new norm. And so it's really making the virtual brand and virtual kitchen industry spike. And so what a lot of operators and owners in your situation don't realize is that all you need is a licensed commercial kitchen space in order to bring in a virtual brand. So we are Virtual Dining Concepts, and we're the leading provider in these delivery-only brands that I'll be talking about.
I think, Kaylana, I was just going to say quick, in short, sort of what we're here to, talk about today is that if you have sort of that kitchen facility or that kitchen equipment inside of your space, we've got solutions that can help you generate additional revenue from it. It's not selling technology or crazy software or new screens or sort of new offerings. It's, you've got the kitchen space, you've got refrigeration with food already in it, and we want to help you use more of it. So.
And me and Kelly are going to kind of tag team on this for a little bit to really get you guys going and help you guys understand exactly how it works and what it means to add a virtual restaurant into your space. So we're just going to go over really what is a virtual restaurant, who are they right for, and then how you can use them to drive revenue into your location. So just to start off with kind of like what we talked about before, so what is a virtual restaurant? Essentially, it is a restaurant that has no physical location. It is a brand that can be operated in your existing kitchen space. So you use your existing staff, your existing equipment, and in a lot of cases, for a lot of your locations, your existing product as well. So if you have hot dogs and hamburgers on your menu, you can use that same product in most situations. It would just have to kind of match up with the ingredients that we have to offer. And it also has a digital following. So there's a really heavy marketing effort put forward for these digital brands using social media and delivery partners such as Uber Eats and DoorDash. And so, like Kelly mentioned, why should you consider adding a virtual brand to your location? So with your existing kitchen profits, you're seeing your food and beverage operation is making the money that you would just normally make off a menu that you're offering your customer base. Well, if you add a virtual brand into it, you can increase your profits and drive your revenue and increase the profit going to your bottom line, like we said, by using your existing operation. So who is Virtual Dining Concepts, and how do we kind of play into the virtual brands and adding a virtual brand into your kitchen? So like I said before, we are the leading provider of delivery only brands. We've been helping kitchen spaces maximize their existing space by adding one of our celebrity concepts into their locations. On this slide, you'll see just a few different brands that we work with. We kind of stick out in the industry because we have that celebrity relationship kind of endorsing the brands. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Mr. Beast. He's a very famous YouTuber. He's got almost 80 million, I believe, followers on YouTube. And so all he has to do is make a YouTube video, and at the very end, he just tells his fans to place an order on the Mr. Beast Burger app. And instantly you are leveraging the millions of people that heard that, and they're placing an order from your location. And your only responsibility is just simply cooking the food. Like Kelly said, it's nothing crazy. You're not doing anything crazy on the back end. We're handling all of that for you at Virtual Dining Concepts. All the marketing efforts, creating the menu, training your staff, all of that's being taken care of. And all you're having to do is just cook the food once those orders come in. Kelly, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think it's great when we talk about just sort of our background. We were operators first, so we were the ones that we have over 200 restaurants across the United States. Robert Earl, our co-founder, and his son Robbie Earl are the owners and operators of Buca de Beppo, Planet Hollywood, Earl of Sandwich. So they're very familiar with sort of the, I would say, restaurant space. And so everything that we've done has really been restaurant and sort of food operators first. How can you execute it inside of your kitchen? Are the recipes simple? And is it something that's going to make you money? And so in partnership with Eric Greenspan from the Food Network, we've developed a bunch of different concepts, leveraging a network of millions of different followers, so that not only do we have a brand for every kitchen, but we've got a brand for every sort of demographic and following that's out there. And I would say that's what's really exciting about our concepts, is that it can help your locations capture revenue from customers that may not be visiting your centers. It may be something that you are attracting, you're looking to attract the millennial generation or college students or any sort of consumer base within there, and our brands can help you do that. And so it's really exciting to create the visibility around the brands, and you get to use your kitchen space for it. Yeah, I was going to say, and so we kind of covered this, right? So visually for you, it's, your kitchen cooks the food. You don't have to worry about anything related to the branding, the recipes, the third parties, the technology. And so if your center is not already offering delivery, that's okay, because we handle it for you. We handle all of the conversations from a technology standpoint so that your location can get up and running and really reap the benefit of having these brands inside of your centers.
And what's great about this is that a lot of times, me and Chris were discussing before the call, a lot of times the centers that you guys are operating, you guys have these giant kitchen spaces and these giant flat top grills and these fires that are hardly being used because your food and beverage operations isn't what's making you your money. It's not what you're seeing your most profit from. What VDC does is we come in and we offer you a brand to really up the profit on that sector of your center. And like we said, all you have to do is, if you have the staff there and the equipment, you just do what you do best at that point, and you just cook the food. And then we're handling everything else on the back end, all the nitty gritty behind it, all the technology behind it. You don't have to be tech gurus to do this or anything. It's as simple as just cooking the food.
And if any of you on the call have created your own virtual brands, I think, you know what goes into that, right? You know exactly what it takes to get all of those third-party companies on the phone. You have to negotiate contracts with them. You have to get their tablets in-house. You have to set them up. You have to send them pictures, send them menu descriptions. And then you have to write everything down for your staff to train them on it as well. That is something that we're bringing to the table. It is this easy, simple solution so that you can get up and running and do what you do best, which is focus on running your center. And this becomes something that generates profits for you in the background. You know, when we look at sort of the execution and the operations of it, you know, because we are restaurant first, we know what you need to be able to train your staff on this. So whether you're a visual learner, you want to watch the video, you want to see the menu sheet, we take care of all of that to make it very simple and easy for you to implement this inside of your center.
If you don't mind, I have a question. If one of our operators maybe has kind of that trademark item or something that they take great pride in, or it's really well known in their geographies. I know we have a couple of movie circuits who have great pizza and they're known for it and people order out and so forth. Is that something they can integrate as well?
They can't integrate it yet today, but I would say that definitely something that we are evolving in that direction because we get that request a lot. But something that becomes really helpful with this, and we saw one of our operators, he owns and operates about 20 bowling alleys across the United States. What he was able to tap into was he was incredibly well known for his burgers, but same thing, he was trying to get it out there to, I would say the community. That not only he had this great food offering that may or may not have been available through delivery, but that his center was open. You know, the center was open. It was a safe place for people to come into. The lights were on, and he wanted consumers to see that. And so with our brands, you can actually opt in to offer pickup. And so when a customer goes to place the order, they can choose to pick it up and they're provided the address with where they pick up the food. And so they come into your location. And at that point, you've got a live individual that was ordering delivery. They get to see that all the lights are on. They get to see all the exciting games and safety protocols that you have in place. And that's where the perfect point is to talk about these are your local offerings so that they do come back to you and see you on a Friday night, or you get them to join your e-club. It can be a really, really great way for you to acquire customers and create visibility around your brand.
And just to add on to that, what we do is we look at your existing operations and your existing menu items, and we're going to try and pair you with a brand that's going to work well. If you don't even have ground beef on your menu, obviously we're not going to come in and offer you our brand of Mr. Beast Burger, because then you'd probably have to bring in a bunch of items you don't already have. We have to help you source them. So we're going to come in and we're going to try and give you a brand that's already going to work well with your existing operations and product. And also, if you, like Kelly mentioned, our partner that was known for his burgers, if he adds Mr. Beast Burger into his location, then the locals and the people around him that have already eaten his burgers, they're going to trust the Mr. Beast Burger coming from his operations. And that's the great part. People, they trust your name, therefore they're going to trust the brand that you're selling through your back door as well. And Kelly kind of touched on this a little bit, but training, we make training on the back end really easy for you as well. We have an incredible platform where you can go on with the brands that you've chosen to bring in-house, and there's videos, there's build sheets, there's PDFs you can print out and put up in your kitchen for your line cooks to just look at very easily. And we've also integrated a culinary verification program as well that's made it really easy for us to make sure that our partners are cooking the food properly. You have to cook a few of the menu items, you have to take some pictures, you have to send it into our culinary team, and Chef Eric Greenspan actually seeing those photos, and he is approving you to start receiving orders. And so we really get you set up for success. And then also on the customer service aspect, we're the ones answering the phones all day, every day, in case anything goes wrong. So we do know when things go wrong, and we do know when things go right. If worst case scenario, the food doesn't reach the customer, or it comes and it's not correct, or it's cooked wrong, that's where all of our training kind of comes into place. The quizzes in there make it very kind of point blank how exactly it's supposed to be prepared and packaged, and how it's supposed to get to the customer as well.
A question just came in, if you don't mind. It's actually multi-tiered. I think I'll just go one at a time. So when providing products for an existing brand, are the menu options adjusted or is the full menu required? You might answer that too.
Yeah, full menu is required. And the reason for that is we want to make sure, because this is a virtual brand, we want the experience that a customer gets in California to be the same experience that they would get in New York, that they would get in Florida. You are in control of your operations, though, to run it just like a restaurant. So if the truck shows up one day and it doesn't have your crinkle cut fries and you run out, you can 86 those items off your menu until they're back in stock again. We do ask that you have the full menu.
Okay, and then I think a really interesting question is, you talked about bringing guests in not familiar with our buildings, but then when your guests come back and now they know you've gotten the Mr. Beast burger and they love that, okay? Are they then able to offer that to them within their building?
So you can't put the Mr. Beast burger on your menu, but we provide signage so that if somebody did want to place an order for it, all they have to do is scan the QR code, and that order will ring right through to you, no problem. You are able to cross-utilize the ingredients on your menu. So if you already have crinkle cut fries in-house, they're the same crinkle cut fries that you would use for this, but you just can't use the IP anywhere on your existing menu. But we provide the solution so that when that customer does come back looking for that burger, they know how to order it.
Okay, thanks. And I'll again encourage everyone on the call, if you have questions, use the chat function and we'll do our best to get them answered.
I just realized I could open up the chat and look at the questions as well. So I know we kind of talked about there being a digital following. So one of the questions we often get asked for people that aren't already using DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates for their menu items is, how do the customers order? So our company specifically has partnered up with all these big brands that you see here: DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub, and we've even recently announced some other partners as well that are more specific to regions in the United States. And so that's where the customer can go and place the order if they want to use one of those third-party apps. And we also have a consumer direct option, little simpler lingo. Someone could just go to the Mr. Beast Burger app and place an order for their burger. And if you're the location closest to them, then you're the one receiving that order, cooking it, packaging it up, and handing off to the delivery driver.
Okay, and that's all. I'm sorry, Kaylana, that's all geographic technology. So in other words, I want a Mr. Beast burger, I open that app and it'll point me to my local movie theater.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Beast Burger specifically, we're in almost 2,000 locations across the country. And we've even just recently expanded into Canada, and we're working on Europe right now. And so almost anywhere you go, almost every major city, Mr. Beast Burger is available. So I encourage you all to try it. It's a very, very good burger. It's not your typical fast food burger. I'm not a burger fan, and I like Mr. Beast Burger, and the fries are really good as well. So I encourage you to try it and kind of see how it works out. And then on the back end, you can do kind of your own research and see where it's coming from as well, which is the cool part. We use a technology called Olo that aggregates all of the orders into one system. Makes it really easy for you guys. We send you one tablet once you're ready to go live and receive orders. And on that one single tablet, you're getting every order from every delivery platform, including the app and the website that we've created for the brand as well. Olo is a major technology platform that a lot of independent brick and mortar locations don't necessarily have access to. And so we're offering that as in a partnership with Virtual Dining Concepts as well. Okay. Kelly, you want to talk money a little bit?
Yeah, and I think, this is one of the most important parts, right? How much money do you get to take home at the end of the day? And how is this going to be a profit center? Our target and the averages that we see across the board with our restaurant partners today, they are seeing anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 orders per day that are coming in. And that all depends on the days and the hours that you're open and operational. Something really important about what we do is that we don't make any stipulations when you have to execute these brands. We want you to execute them when you need the revenue. Sometimes you don't need it on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon, but maybe you do need it on Sundays and Mondays. And so that's what's really cool about this concept, is that it's meant to really be a plug and play solution into what works best for you. With that being said, we've structured our menus so that you're seeing those average checks of right around $20. People are typically ordering, an entree, a side, and a drink. And so we take care of all of that so that when that revenue is coming in, it's something that makes sense for your location. It doesn't make sense for your location to get 1 or 2 orders per day. And with the way that we've set ourselves up financially, it's something where we are dedicated to making sure that your restaurant is seeing that revenue coming in. And what we do is we take a percentage of the net sales, and that percentage is used to cover all of the fees related to operating this menu inside of your location. All of the third-party fees, delivery fees, marketing, technology, all of the promotions that we do, we take care of all of it. So when we pass back to your location on a weekly basis, that's 60%. The only cost that you have to worry about covering with that 60% will be the food and the packaging costs. It's something where we've structured our menus to make it so that anything that we're offering, the food costs, which includes the packaging, is less than 30%. So you can see how financially this is something that could make a ton of sense for your location, with the kitchen already there. If fingers crossed you have the staff there that are executing it, this could be a great way to keep that staff busy the entire time that they're there and help get additional orders from it. So it's something where we try to make it as simple as possible from an accounting perspective. So all you have to worry about is you have that food, you make the orders, and you get paid out on that weekly basis.
So I know we are going to open up into a Q&A after, but just a few things that we'd like to cover that get asked a lot. Kelly just mentioned how often you get paid. We do pay out weekly. Our accounting team is wonderful. We make it very easy. All you have to do is submit a W-9, and it's through a direct deposit each week. And also there will be a remittance attached to that as well that kind of explains the sales as well and the percentage split. I believe it even breaks it up by credit card. I don't know if that makes a difference, but for some people it may. And then another question we get often is, how long is the contract or the commitment? So what's great about virtual dining concepts is there is no commitment on a partnership with us. We do have a contract in place that we would both sign to kind of get you moving and across the finish line. But like Kelly said, it's not the best fit for everyone, and we completely understand. Especially because your operations and your center comes first. This is just an additional menu you're running out of your back of house to increase your profits. And so like she mentioned, on a Friday night or a Saturday night, it's too busy and it's just not something you can do, and you can't bring in those additional orders. We completely understand. You don't need to operate the brand during that time. Best case scenario, your center gets too busy all day, every day, and you can't bring in any more orders anymore. You can absolutely walk away from the concept. We will always be here when you want to come back. We just require a few days notice in order to kind of get you off those platforms. We kind of already went over how you receive the orders. We do send you a tablet. Like I said, that all the orders are aggregated into that one single tablet. So your orders coming from Uber Eats, from DoorDash, from Grubhub, and even from the app, all of them will be on that one single tablet. And you can place that anywhere in your center. We have a lot of partners that place it at their host stand, and their host communicates it to the kitchen. We have a lot that place it right in the kitchen next to the line, and so that you have really one person in charge of getting it down the line and across the finish line. Is there customer support available? Absolutely. I believe I touched on this as well already. We have a customer service team that is here basically all hours of the day, answering the phones in case there's ever a need from a customer or even from the drivers. In our experience, a lot of the frustration behind virtual brands is dealing with the third-party delivery companies like Uber Eats and DoorDash. We get it. We completely understand, especially when it comes to a bowling center or a movie theater. Those drivers might not know exactly where to go pick up the food. And so that's what our team is here for. We're here answering the phones all day. When they need directions, we even put in their specific directions in the system that the third-party delivery companies pick up to make sure that the driver knows exactly where they're going. And one of the most important things, I think, is where do our partners get their food? You do choose where you want to source the food from. We have a team that will help you source the food if you need it. We have nothing is proprietary in regarding our ingredients to our brands. You can use your existing food provider. We have a relationship with a few of the big ones out there. I'm sure a lot of the operators on this call probably have accounts with those big ones. We'd be happy to talk about that as well. But you do choose where you need to get the food from. And worst case scenario, if there's something you can't find, like Kelly mentioned, we are able to 86 that item until you're able to source it if need be. Chris, did you want to kind of go into a Q&A once we're finished, or maybe now?
Yeah, let's maybe do that now.
Okay.
And I've got a couple that I've written down here. How long would it take an operator to get up and running if they called you, let's say today?
It's a great question. So we do have a few steps that we have to take in order to, we like to use the term cross the finish line a lot in this office. But our goal is within less than 30 days. Typically speaking, our around the 3-week range is the time frame we give you for us to do what we need to do on the back end to get you set up on the platforms, and then also for you to source your food and get the training done. So we are looking at less than 30 days for you to start actually receiving orders and generating revenue.
Okay. Another question, any geographies that you're particularly interested in right now? And I guess maybe also the flip side, are there some geographies where you're saturated and you don't really need any more outlets?
Yeah, I will tell you, we are very lucky in that we have not only 10 concepts that operators can take advantage of now, but we have another 7 that are launching this year, all celebrity paired, whether it's celebrity, a brand, an influencer, wildly exciting concepts. So there's no shortage there. But the important thing is that we do provide an exclusivity area to our partners. We want to make sure that when a partner signs on with us, it is something where you're going to be successful with it. And so we give a radius around each one of the locations to ensure that there won't be another partner in that area that's executing that concept. Okay. Typically, it's going to be about 3 miles, depending on where you are in the United States. And so are there some territories that aren't available for specific brands? Definitely are. But, while 2,000 locations sounds like a lot for Mr. Beast, there is still a ton of territory available. And so it's something where it makes sense to, check out your location. And that's what we do in sort of our consultation and due diligence and bringing a partner on board. We check the area for you. We look at your kitchen equipment to make sure that this will be a success.
Okay. I know when you talk about the third-party apps, that makes complete sense. But from a marketing standpoint, how do your brands, how do you market your brands outside of the third-party brands? How does that work? Are they all separate apps? Is it a combined app? And then how do you get that out to, say, your local audience?
Yeah. So we have a massive marketing team here that handles all of the marketing of these individual brands. Each brand has a team that looks at where can we put this brand and how do we get it in front of as many consumers as possible. Today, they all have their own individual apps. Not to say in the future there won't be sort of that food hall-esque vibe, but it's something where today, the brands are very specific in terms of their demographics, right? Of who it is. Sometimes a Mariah Carey fan isn't a Mr. Beast fan, isn't a Pauly D fan. So we know that consumers are seeking out those specific brands, but we handle all of the Google My Business listings, the Yelp listings, the social media pages, absolutely everything related to those, the branding opportunities to make sure that we can localize it and drive that revenue and those orders to those individual locations.
If the ingredients aren't proprietary, how do the customers recognize their favorite items? What's special or unique about the recipes?
Yeah. Well, I think what's special and unique about them is that they are tied to that celebrity. It's Mariah Carey's cookies. It is Buddy Velastro's Cake Slice, the cake boss. And Mr. Beast Burger, we build the menus with the talent. So it's not something where they are just putting their name on it. They are heavily involved in the research and the product development and the products that we choose for it. And sort of the process on it is we put together sort of a general order guide. So that general order guide lists out the specs that you would need to have in-house in order to prepare those recipes. And there are some unique items in there. I think, for Mr. Beast Burger, what makes that product unique is it's an American smash burger and it's got seasoning on the burger. And so the way that the recipe is designed allows us to not have to use very specific ingredients and products. Do we have some concepts that have these very unique products, whether it's Mariah Carey's cookies or Buddy V's cake slice, and you can't just use any cookie? We do. But when you look at a Mr. Beast Burger, it's 16 SKUs. And if you have got ground beef, American cheese, crinkle cut fries, we can get you up and running pretty easily with it.
Okay, thanks. Also, when it comes to the third-party brands, I guess I understand the delivery concept. If they're going through the individual brand apps, now you also provide delivery, is that correct?
Yeah, yep. Everything's integrated on the back end. So when somebody orders from MrBeastBurger.com, we handle the aggregation to assign a delivery driver to that. And could that be the same as a DoorDash driver? It could. We use the technology that assigns those drivers. So at no point will your staff ever have to deliver an order.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then also you mentioned, during busy periods, right? When you have actual customers in the store. So is there kind of a blink on, blink off functionality that's designed in? Okay.
Yeah, and we can even, because that becomes sort of an extra management step, we actually provide the ability to split your hours. So nobody knows your facility better than you do. And the way that you're scheduling your staff, sometimes that, that extra help is coming in starting at 5 p.m. and then you only need them until 7 p.m. when you cut people. We can have your hours structured in the system to only accept orders until 4:30 and start again at 8:30. So it becomes very, very easy to manage within your facility.
So that could be your typical day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask? Some really good questions have come in, so we really appreciate that. Not seeing any right now, Kaylana. So, but if they do, go ahead. We'll answer them when they come in. Oh, wait, we do have one.
So for the
Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Kaylana.
For the concepts that do have specific products/ingredients, do you then have set national suppliers and pricing, or does that still fall to the individual locations? So great question. Like Kelly mentioned, we do provide you an order guide that has the specific SKUs that you need in-house in order to execute the brand. So the only brand we have that is specific to a food provider is going to be our Buddy V's Cakes brand. And that is because Buddy V has a relationship with the specific food provider. So that's really the only situation so far where you're going to need to order through someone specific. We have it set up on the order guide to where we give recommendations on where you can place your orders from. But other than that one brand, there's no specific place you do need to get it from. Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know the Mr. Beast Burger order guide has the peri-peri spice on it. But that's available across the board in most cases, right?
Yeah, and we've got substitutions as well. So in the scenario where potentially your local supplier isn't carrying it, we have alternatives available on whether it's Amazon, one of our sites, or through just different alternatives so that you can get your hands on it. And we have gone out and contracted with those national food suppliers. So when we look at a Cisco of the world, they have national pricing for us that we're allowed to offer back to our customers. So when you look at ground beef or the pickles, the cheese, it is something where by working with us directly, you do get access to that pricing, which is really helpful. And I know on the Mariah Carey's cookies, it's something where you can, I won't give away the name, but you can get your hands on those cookies outside of Mariah herself. But it is something by ordering through us with virtual dining concepts. And I don't mean ordering through us. You still order through your local account rep, but we just tag your account saying that you're a partner of virtual dining concepts. You do get access to that discounted pricing. So it definitely can be really helpful for your locations.
Okay. The listener has a smoothie and pressed juice shop, and he's wondering, would this be a good fit or not?
So it sounds like Mr. Beast Burger might not be, but it is something where, you know, Buddy B's Cake Slice, it is a concept for us where it is freezer and refrigeration only. So if you have refrigeration in there and you'd like to add on this product, you definitely can. Same thing if you have sort of one of those smaller conventional ovens. Mariah Carey's Cookies is an oven baked concept that you can prep ahead of time during the week and have those cookies on hand to sell, you know, when those orders come in. We also have, you know, refrigeration only, a deli concept, which I'm not sure if that fits with smoothies or pressed juice, but for anybody out there that has a deli that is just, you know, sort of cold cuts, if you're doing quick service sandwiches inside of your center, we've got, you know, brands like that available as well. So yeah, if you've got refrigeration and freezer space, we can definitely partner with you.
Thank you. One other question just came to my mind. We talk a lot, be it our government relations committee or any committee that we're on with, or when we're on with members, about what we're all running into now, which is supply chain issues. And wondering, because you do provide some things, are you running into similar issues?
Yeah, supply chain issues are everywhere. My goodness, and we are in working with 2,000 restaurants across the United States. It's been something that we've been actively involved with, and so we have an entire purchasing team that looks at, you know, what are those substitutions that we can have available to work in, so that if you can't get your hands on, you know, one of our concepts that has chicken wings, for example, you know, what are your options there? And so we work very closely with you and your center to decide what substitutions you may need, or swapping out different products, or even introductions to different vendors that can potentially either get you the product or get you better pricing on it.
Okay, thank you. Don't really have any further questions, Kaylana, if you want to go ahead.
So I believe we're nearing the finish line, but this is just kind of an example of a bowling center. I almost said alley. I know there's new terminology, but a bowling center that we work with. This partner of ours has several brands in several of their locations, and they've seen it as a huge success. So our friend Mo said that we operate bowling centers, and our first thought was, how are we going to handle our customer base and VDC orders? Honestly, we started with Mr. Beast in one location, and my staff did not skip a beat serving both. We saw how valuable this brand is. We moved forward to 5 locations in our Michigan market alone. We added several other brands in addition to Mr. Beast Burger, and we are adding more. It's been a pleasure working with the VDC team. I had the pleasure to speak with Mo directly, and he said that this has been a game changer for them. They're using their kitchen space they never thought they'd use. They're seeing profit from their food and beverage operations that they never thought they'd see. And like we had mentioned before, we have lots and lots of partners, almost 2,000 locations operating our brands across the country and in some other countries as well. And we are helping all of them generate that extra revenue. So just a few steps, if anyone is interested and would like to reach out to us, feel free. But kind of like Chris had asked before about the contract and the timeline, it's as simple as just 1, 2, 3. We would talk with you about what brands would work in your location. We get you set up with training and sourcing your food. And then, like I said before, you'd cross the finish line and start receiving those orders. And you're looking at a timeline of under 30 days that you can kind of get going with our brands.
And I would say, Kaylana, something exciting too when we look at sort of the brands and concepts that we have available is, you know, with it being non-proprietary items, this is an incredible way to enhance the offerings that you may have in your center, or, you know, potentially you were looking to offer inside of your center. It's a great sort of risk-free way to test the market of your existing customer base to see, you know, maybe they were looking for mac and cheese or a cheeseburger, because you're using that inventory with our brands. And so we can help you push sort of the orders out the front door. So then that way, you know, your customers that are inside of your facility, you can enhance the offerings that you're providing to them, test out different options, see what resonates with them just from an overall product standpoint, and can help you add additional value to your center. And so that is something that I think has been just such a benefit of bringing on our virtual brands for these, you know, concession stands and entertainment centers. And it's an awesome risk-free way to, you know, potentially enhance that existing offering.
And that is the end of my visual presentation. I just wanted to open the floor again and see if anyone had any additional questions for us, any comments.
And certainly, if you guys want to hang on, we can field those right to the end of the call too. But I do want to thank Kaylana and Kelly and Lisa for coming on and for being members of NAC. We appreciate becoming members and diving right in with us. And I'll have to work on you guys a little bit and see if we can maybe get you down, somebody down to Orlando in the end of July.
Yeah, of course. I remember you talking about it on our last call, and that's definitely something me and Kelly are going to discuss.
Okay, outstanding.
And I think cool too, we are happy to, if you're thinking about it, if you have more questions or you're interested in would it make sense for my location? You know, we have a ton of different resources here from a culinary standpoint, a purchasing perspective, finance, and you know, we've got tons of people in the local markets as well. So if we can stop by your center or present this to your team to see if this might be a fit, you know, we are growing very, very quickly here and would love to have your locations part of the success.
Okay. Kaylana, do you have some contact information that you want to splash up? Or
do.
Otherwise too, everybody can work through me as well, and I'd be happy to make the introduction.
Yeah, of course. And I'll also follow up. I do have, I believe I have the list of everyone on the call, and I'll follow up and give everyone my personal contact information if anyone has any additional questions or would like to hear more.
Okay. Well, thanks again so much. We really appreciate you having here, and we appreciate your membership. And hopefully we've been able to, like I said, unpack this a little bit, because I think everybody's heard of the concept, but you know, did we really dig in and find out, or do we even have time to do that? And so I think by taking a good 45 minutes here, we all maybe understand a little bit more what we didn't before. So I want to thank you again. I'm going to go ahead and take control of the screen. If I can figure it out. It's been a while. All right. Okay, just want to end up with just a few reminders for everybody. Again, CinemaCon registration is open, and I will also remind everybody, I'm pretty sure you've all heard it by now, but in case you haven't, it bears repeating. The NFL draft is that same week in Las Vegas, so it behooves everybody to make your arrangements now. So just kind of a little public service announcement from our part, but certainly NAC will have a full slate of events, and then also within a few weeks here, we'll have information out about the NAC Concession and Hospitality Expo, getting back to our normal footprint, getting back to our full program that we weren't able to do last year. We were very grateful for the program that we did have. Turned out very well. Thanks again to everybody who participated there. So I want to thank everyone again for joining us. This has been Check-in Chat. It's a presentation of the National Association of Concessionaires, NAC, where food meets fun. Thanks, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.
Thank you, everyone.